All right, so in this segment, we can see that the acrylics have dried, and they look pretty good here. They got a nice rusty patina on them. We've got the short piece that my cat broke off, and we've got the longer piece. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do the raw umber wash, and I just do my raw umber wash in this old Tamiya panel line. Tamiya panel line is a really excellent product, but I've run out, and where I'm at in France, it's hard to come by. It's expensive to order. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a good soak, give each piece a good soak, and I want to be careful because the enamel in this wash, this filter we're going to put on, really is tough on the glue joints. So I want to make sure I don't soften it up too much, and we'll get going here. We'll just, again, this is something you can just kind of slop on. The more random, the more darker bits, the better, because rust really wasn't anything consistent. So we'll just get it on, and we'll work it into the nooks and crannies. This has more flat surfaces to it than the outside tracks. They really you got to work at it to get it in there. So we've got that in there, and that'll dry. And now we'll just kind of slop it on, and really, this is something you don't have to be too neat with. Again, you just want to get too much on there because of softening the joints. So we'll get this, and this will give it a nice it'll tie all the different colors together, and it'll give it a nice dark finish. So it's nothing too garish where you had the khaki was a bit of a standout. So we'll work that in there, and I've got a piece. I showed it to you yesterday. That's ready to go as far as putting the silver on. So we'll do that next, and we'll get this portion of the track video done. So you can see it's kind of coming together. Tries a bit dark, which I think is nice, and we can always lighten it up, because even after you get them on, you can still hit it with colors, different colors. So we'll set these guys aside to dry. I've got I think I've shown you this before. This is the other segment, and I've got to still make this middle run, but by doing it this way, I need to get this run completely done, glued, so I can get the right groups in the track. So I'm just going to pop this off. Just pop off one piece, and I think this is pretty neat. So get this to pop off, and there we go. And I will set aside that. I will set aside the wash. And now what I'm going to do is I've got the Revell steel. I picked this up at a contest or an exposition a couple years back. Got kind of I want to use a wider brush because I want to do this in big swaths because it's easier. And really this is just old-fashioned dry brushing. So I want to get the brush loaded up, get most of it off, and then I'm going to hit the outside here, and you can see that the pieces, the parts of the track that would contact the ground, anything really on that would get wore off, would get worn down to steel, because nothing really would stick to it. So we'll work that in there, and we'll just get that. That's probably the easiest part of the process. That it highlights pretty nice. So what you want to do now is, you've got the metal road wheels on the metal track would polish this inner thing. Now, I don't think you have to be too precise with this, but what I like to do is I like to take a small flat brush, and I just like to run it down either side, and I'll grab the guide horns. So that, just either side, and that'll polish. I've seen guys use a number of different methods, burnishing pencils, or I think MIG and AK have a number of great products, but I just can't afford all the different products that are out there. I mean, I'd love to, but it gets expensive. So I'll just use what I've got, paint that on there, and certainly you want to get it. You really won't see this because this will be wrapped around the sprocket, but we'll get this too. And again, let's see. We'll make sure we got those guide horns covered. So that'll be it for this. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to perform exactly the same thing on those pieces that I hit with the wash. But just give you an idea how I do this. Again, you can do this with link and length. You can do this with the rubber tracks. There's a lot you can do with just some simple products. All right, you guys take care. I've enjoyed doing the tracks with you. We'll get these tracks mounted, and we'll get to the real fun. We'll get the upper hull done. We'll get that turret. Then we do some painting and weathering. Yep, be a good time. All right, hey, you guys take care. Thanks for tuning in, and you guys enjoy the week. Steve out. Bye now.